Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HG Iron-Blooded Orphans Hugo. So as I said in the unboxing, I guess the name is technically somewhere between the Japanese pronunciation of Yugo and Hugo, so Hugo, like that anyway. But it's just a really interesting mobile suit design. I'm not really feeling it myself, but it's an interesting design and it makes for a pretty interesting kit. Definitely a lot of pros and cons with this kit, to be sure. But overall, you know, it's just one of those things. If you like the design, then you'll probably be fairly pleased with this kit. But we'll get more into that. Just want to say thank you to MindFenix Hobby Store for sending me this kit to share with you guys. In a lot of ways, this feels like an Iron-Blooded Orphans kit mashed with a HG Reconquista in G kit, because like it has like an almost full inner frame, which is very reminiscent of like the HG Iron-Blooded Orphans kits, like the Gundams and the Grazes kits that have almost full frame. Once again, this is the Hexa frame, is the name of this frame now for this mobile suit. But as for the armor, that felt a lot more like a Reconquista and G kit, where it was just basically a lot of sandwich parts with a lot of seam lines and a lot of bad nub marks, like just large gates and like gates placed in areas that are kind of hard to get rid of, or hard to not hard, but harder than other places that they could have been, I guess. Anyway, and then also a lot of just mold lines as well. Mold lines are just like this little lines of plastic around the edge where you'll just have to just do some extra sanding on there as well. So, I don't know, just, yeah, this kit was kind of weird. Like, it has a lot of good points in terms of the like engineering in there, and then some other points where I just felt like, huh? Like, why did they do that? I don't know, but also has some pretty egregious stickers. We'll point those out in a moment as well. Overall, the color scheme is really cool. I really like this color scheme there, just with that like off-white, just very light gray color, and then the navy and orange. It all works really well together. And like I said, the design is cool. I personally feel that the design kind of looks like just someone's bad kit bash, to be honest. Like they just had like a frame of some mobile suit and then just like slapped a bunch of parts on it that like sort of work. And I think I talked about this before in one episode of Gunpla News or something before this kit came out. Some different areas, especially like on the legs and the feet. Like those feet just look like those were like some parts of another kit, like the knee parts of some kit, and then someone thought, okay, I can just use that like as a foot, but like it's so weird and just doesn't really look right. I mean, kudos to Sunrise and Bandai for wanting to try something different and changing up their designs. Of course, if they just made the same thing over and over again, it wouldn't be interesting at all. But on the other hand, in this case, just the design, I think, did not really turn out that good. But anyway, okay, so here's the head. This whole big thing is attached onto the head. So if we just pull this off just for an example there. That is our head. Now it has this piece there in the center, which has a sticker there for that kind of visor. They're just black and green stripes. That just plugs down here. As we can see, the armor on the frame is very, very minimal. It's just basically these two orange pieces there on the side, and then it's just all just torso frame there. So the head, this lower part of like the head armor is actually covering up the front of the torso there. So that's pretty interesting. Another sticker here on the back of the head. And then we of course have the backpack here. Nothing really moves on there. We have some connection parts. You can take those off if you want. I just have them on there just because we're going to be using those. So just keep those on there for now. Otherwise, just the torso has the same kind of movement you would expect from these HGIBO frame kits. Movement there, and then a ball joint there at the base. So quite a range of movement there in the torso. Nothing, no problem with that. I guess I didn't really talk about the articulation of the head. It's kind of okay. Just with this huge shape, obviously it's gonna have some pretty limited articulation. So back, not that much. Forward a little bit, but overall it's just kind of okay. It's there. On the shoulders, we have these huge stickers here. These are like the worst. These stickers, they go on kind of okay, but just for such a huge part, that really should have been a piece of plastic. So that's unfortunate. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those on the front and back of each shoulder. Here on this part of the shoulder, this part will move up and down a little bit. We have a couple of thrusters set inside there, a seam on the top of the shoulder there, and the arm's just going to rotate there at the top, bend, and give you an angle about that much. Of course, we have seams on the forearm as well, going all the way down on the top and bottom. Pretty cool hand design too. I like how we have the little like knuckle little details there on like the top of the hand. Wrist is just on a ball joint. Of course, as for the shoulder, we're going to have forward and back movement just a little bit because it's kind of actually blocked by that orange piece of armor on the side of the torso. But up and down is not going to be a problem, but then of course we just have a huge piece of shoulder armor and a huge head just bumping into each other. But you can still, despite that, get the hand up without too much issue, so that's good. Then moving down here to the front skirt, this is just one piece. Now, like with other kits, you can separate this. This is just one piece. Obviously, you can't separate that without doing more modifications, so that's just one piece that moves back and forth like so. The back skirt doesn't do anything. It's just plugged onto there straight, but a lot of nice detail there. Anyway, the legs are going to rotate here at the top, and I found this joint is actually quite loose. Here, this pops out very easily. So just like moving the legs around, I found that this gets really loose and I keep having to press this back in tightly. So yeah, just a small thing here. And then so we have this part here on the side of the leg, which will move a little bit, but then that's kind of limited by this front part here. There's an orange sticker on the front of there. And like this part here on the side, this has a few like really huge gates on it and a mold line going all the way around there. So this is like the front of the thigh. You can bend the knee like that, and I guess that's all the knee bend we're going to get, so it's like less than 90 degrees bend there in the knee. But it does have this like backwards bend like that, which you can see is kind of interesting. So I guess that's going to give us, yeah, just about 90 degrees. So interesting like backwards knee joint there. So yeah, strange. And if you want to straighten that out, it'll give you more height like that. As for our feet, they're just very usual Iron Blooded Orphans feet. They're going to rotate side to side like so. You get this whole part is going to move up and down like that. It's another joint set up inside there. So the whole foot's going to be able to move like that, because then you can open that up, and then here is a gimmick. You can pop out this piece here and it makes like a claw there for the foot. So again, it's a cool thing, but just the shape of the foot just looks, especially this front part, just looks so wrong. So I don't know. But so that's the feet, so that can close up like that and do all of that fun stuff. So I think that's pretty much it for the articulation. Overall, of course, like I said, with it being an HG Iron Blooded Orphans kit, with an almost full inner frame, the articulation is pretty good. It's only really going to be limited by different shapes of large pieces of armor. So for the accessories, like with the Barbatos Lupus, we have this connection peg here, which is just like an adapter for just plugging into up underneath the skirt armor there. For plugging in an action base, I guess just to give you a little bit more clearance for plugging this onto an action base. Then we have our rifle. Just pretty simple rifle here, just two pieces sandwiched together. But again, nice detail on there. So this is obviously going to have a seam line going all the way down that. This just pops into either hand. If you don't want to hold this on the hand, nowhere else to plug this onto the kit. You can't put it on the back skirt or anything like that. So if not in the hand, then you're just going to have to put that somewhere else. And then we have these, which I guess are called scimitar. But they're just shotels, scythes like that, sort of similar to what the Sandrock uses in Gundam Wing. We have two of these, so these as well will just fit into the hands. If you want to attach these onto the backpack though, this is a kind of cool thing. You can attach one onto each side, like so, of the backpack, and then they attach together here at the bottom, and just make this cool kind of ring there on the back with those. So that's a kind of cool thing, I think. Cool way to store those there on the backpack if you're not going to be using them. And the last thing we have here is these two wires. Now, if you remember, here on the kind of side of the leg, it's not really side to skirt, just side of the leg, we can pull off this piece detached from the side skirt like so. I'll put that down for a second. And in here is a claw. So you can actually, there's a track, you can slide the claw out more, and there's not really anything to stop it, so you just kind of have to just slide it out like that and then open up the claw like so, like that, and then we can attach this with our wire. So one end just plugs into the back of this claw part, the other end plugs into the side of the leg, and you're supposed to like bend this in behind the part, but just for a demonstration's sake I'm just going to do it like this. So that's going to be something like that. This wire doesn't really seem to be too strong. As you can see, it's kind of sagging down. Try to pose this in a way that it's sort of up like that, but it's not really the strongest. I think just a little bit larger gauge of wire would have been better in this case, because this is a little bit weak, but it's a pretty interesting gimmick anyway. So for a comparison, here it is with the Gundam Barbatos Lupus, just sort of locked in battle there. So yeah, I mean, the gimmick of the feet acting as sort of claws like that definitely is a cool thing, and yeah, like I said, I'll give Bandai props for being sort of creative, or Bandai or Sunrise, or anyway, the design team who designed this mobile suit, for just getting creative there with some different gimmicks for the mobile suit. It looks cool just in the fact that it's so unique. It's something that we just don't really see that often, something with the mobile suit that kind of unique and versatile, like using its feet in battle. It's just something that we don't really see too often, so it's definitely a cool thing. And as I said, I think that a little bit larger gauge of wire would have been good, but this wire that's provided, as you can see, it's not bad. It can hold it up. It's just a balancing act. It takes a few minutes to get it balanced just right, so that you're actually able to have the claw actually up and suspended on that wire. So I think if you wanted to have it in a little bit some other pose, I don't know, you're just not totally unlimited in the posing that you can do with that. I think just if you switch that out, if you just went out and bought some different wire on your own that's a little bit larger, you'd have to drill out the holes there a little bit more so that it would fit. You would also have the extra advantage of being able to make that longer. This wire that's provided is not very long. Kind of wish that Bandai would have given us maybe one long wire, and then so you have to cut it. Sometimes they do that, like they'll just give you one long wire and then it's supposed to be two, you just have to cut it. I kind of wish they would have done that in this case, so that you have the option of just using like one longer one if you wanted to. Just again, a small complaint, and easily fixed by just going out to the hardware store and buying another wire on your own, but just something that I wish was different about this kit personally. Otherwise, I mean, aside from the stickers on there and some seam lines, there's really not a whole lot to complain about with this kit. It's just a pretty standard HG kit. So that's pretty much going to be it for my review of the Hugo. It's just one of those things. It's a really unique kit with some really unique gimmicks and some really unique weapons. So if that all, if that all appeals to you, then you'll be perfectly happy with the kit. There are some negative points. The same thing with every normal, most normal high-grade kits. So this is one of those kits that's just kind of hard to review, or I think not that interesting to review for you guys, because it's just very standard. It's just one of those things that has all the same pros and cons as the other kits in the line of the HG Iron Blood Orphans kits. Great articulation, great details, great inner frame stuff and gimmicks and cool weapons. Then also has the same negatives, as it has seam lines and some stickers where you really would have wished that they would have made that separate parts. And so yeah, it all comes down to, if you like the design, then go for it, you'll enjoy the kit. If you don't really like the design, then just pass, and you're not really going to be missing anything too special. So that's pretty much all it comes down to. It's a very easy thing. I really could have made this review like 30 seconds, but just hopefully that was interesting or helpful for you guys who maybe were on the fence about this kit. There are definitely things to like and things to dislike about it, so that's just me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, if you have any other questions or comments, leave those down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!